going on, dudes and dudettes? So yes, after this last NFL draft, I guess you could now call USC quarterback U or QBU. As some places do like wide receiver U or running back U, because they now have the most drafted quarterbacks of all time selected in the draft, especially from one school. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I think they're at number 26 now with Caleb Williams the other day. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. Always crazy to think how many guys are drafted from one school, especially at one position, but I guess it's always harder for a certain type of a position like a quarterback to get drafted that many times, but that's good to see for those future USC recruits. Speaking of a future, hopefully USC Trojan, his name is the 4-star linebacker Noah McHale. Was a local guy from Laverne, I believe, and I think he's setting a commitment date as well for like June 30th officially, and I think he will be visiting USC either that 7th or that 20-something, so he'll probably be going to USC as one of his last visits, which is pretty nice. But yes, definitely need this big-time local prospect to select USC, especially at that linebacker position, in my opinion. And then a local guy who's pretty close to me, he goes to Centennial High School. He's a 4-star cornerback, I believe, and LaRue Zamorano. I believe Centennial is doing some type of like showcase. I don't know if they're like showing off their guys for next season or maybe the future guys like him, and in case other colleges wanted to come and check them out at the school, which is pretty interesting. But he was rocking the USC gloves, which is always nice to see, especially when they're at some type of tournament, doing like showcasing their skills basically in front of a bunch of scouts and other people, that they're wearing a specific type of school, and it's pretty cool that he still has the love for USC. So hoping that he does also come that 4-star player to USC in the near future. In a Wyoming defensive tackle, Gavin Mayer recently scheduled a USC visit. I don't know exactly when he is coming, but he is one of the later guys that ended up into the transfer portal. So I guess that's why he's still available at that position, which is what USC is looking for, that D-tackle, nose tackle type of guy to clog up the middle and stuff the run game. He does play that position, but he's not as big as some of those guys that they were looking at. Definitely over the 6-foot mark, but around or over 300 pounds as well. I think he's like around 280 something. So I don't know. When it comes to NFL players, even I don't think they reach that high, that amount of weight at that position. I don't even think the best to ever do it, Aaron Donald, was 300 pounds either, and he still dominated inside as well. So even like you look at a Max Crosby, he's not the prototypical type of looking edge/defensive end player, but yet he's still very productive for, sadly, the Las Vegas Raiders. So either way, I still think they picked up, Solomon Byrd a couple years ago from Wyoming on the defensive side, and it worked out pretty well for them. He wasn't great, but it still was a consistent guy for them, and he did get drafted in the 7th round to Houston. So hopefully this guy will do some pretty good things if he decides to come to USC. And then when it came to the 4-star edge, Isaiah Gibson, apparently he accepted an On3 Elite Camp invitation or whatever the heck that is that Julian Lewis, I talked about the other day, accepted the invitation as well too. So we'll see how they do. Hopefully they showcase out and see how good they look, and hopefully we're still committed to USC. I know the quarterback Julian Lewis did schedule an official visit with Indiana, but I believed he was already going to be doing that because he knows the coaching and all that stuff. So it wasn't that surprising, but of course everybody's like, oh look, USC's going to lose him now because he set up another official visit. But that's his right too. He gets to set up those official visits just to make sure it's all good either way. Still believe he's coming to USC no matter what. And then another thing right before this was the CBS Sports released a Big Ten quarterback rankings, and it's pretty cool that Miller Moss is on there at the number 4 spot ranking. So obviously they have like a couple of older guys, way older guys ahead of him, but it's still good to see that they still believe he's talented, especially more talented than some of the 1st or 2nd year quarterbacks that will be starting in that new big league. So yes, definitely very happy and excited for Miller Moss to hopefully get this starting job in the fall. And yes, hoping that it does continue to have a great season going into the fall after that. And yes, sadly, I was duped the other day when I saw a notification off of X saying that Juju Watkins started following my profile, but yes, sadly, it was a fake Juju Watkins account. So yeah, I got my hopes up a little bit, but yeah, sadly, it is not her. So I guess we'll try again later at some point. And then there was that 4-star wide receiver we talked about pretty recently, Donovan Olugbodi. He put out a final 5 and luckily has USC still in there, so that's nice to see. There's still a lot of talented guys in that 2025 wide receiver class that still haven't really trimmed down, or if they have, they did not include USC, which is kind of interesting because why would you not want to go play for Lincoln Riley's offense, and with the hope that one of the top quarterbacks, Julian Lewis, will be there as well. But either way, it's pretty good that you still got the 4 stars looking at you, so I'm not mad about that. And then, yeah, there was another 4-star 2025 offensive tackle, Jackson Lloyd, set up an official visit on June 21st, coming up next month. So yeah, that's one of those bigger weekends in June, whether it's the 7th or the 21st. So luckily, they got one of the better 4-star tackles to come around that time, so that's good to see. And then House of Victory did have one signing this week, I believe. It's the linebacker Easton Mascarenas-Arnold, who is a transfer from Oregon State. So yeah, his first year with the program, already getting in on the NIL stuff and looking to make some money while he's in college. So congrats to him. And 2 of the incoming freshmen for USC women's basketball, Kennedy Smith and Kaylee Heichel, were both invited to the Team USA under 18 trials or camp, whatever it is, that's going to be starting up next week. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, there are some of the higher ranked players in that last recruiting cycle, so I'm not surprised that they were invited to at least try out for future Team USA teams. But yes, yeah, go over there, compete, don't get hurt, because we definitely need you in the fall to help out Juju Watkins. So yes, looking forward to seeing if they make the team or not. And then there was a thing that went around. They were talking about college football reducing the roster size from about 115 players to around 85 to 95 total. I thought it was already around that 80 something because you only got 70 to 80 something scholarships, and then everybody else who's a preferred walk-on or pretty much playing for free without a scholarship are the guys who make up the rest, and they usually don't play. They might wear a jersey that they wear during practice, but that's pretty much it. They don't even have pads on the sideline usually. But I guess they're going to maybe cut it down to even those guys that are added to not reach that 115 area, to maybe just reach that 85 to 90 something. I don't know why, but I guess they're going to be doing that. So I guess that'll be interesting moving forward. And then with the beach volleyball team recently getting a 4-peat national championship, USC did put out a post saying like what they've done in past history with a lot of the teams on the men's and women's side who have 4-peated in the past as well. So I want to get through that list real quick because it's quite a bit of teams. Obviously, the beach volleyball did it 2021 to 2024. The baseball team did it 1970 to 1974. Men's water polo from 2008 to 2013. Women's tennis, 1977 to 1980. Men's track and field did it twice, 1935 to 43, and 1949 to 1955. Men's swim and dive did it twice as well, 1963 to 1966, and 1974 to 1977. Men's tennis did it twice as well, 1966 to 69, and 2009 to 2012 as well. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, a lot of dominant sports out there. Like I said, we gotta add softball so we could add our own 4-peat there in that new sport for them. I know lacrosse has been one of the newer programs out there for at least the women's side. I don't know if there's a men's lacrosse team at USC, but the women do play pretty well And that's going to be good going into the Big Ten because they have a lot of colleges out there with that sport. So we'll see how that ends up turning up. And then, yeah, Evan Mobley was playing today in Game 2 versus the Boston Celtics, and he had a near triple-double. I believe he had like 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists as well, and helped them equal that series 1-1 game. So, yeah, that's pretty nice for Cleveland heading back home to Cleveland in their own arena. So, yeah, sending some luck to the ex-USC Trojan against the ex-Duke Blue Devil, Jason Tatum, who plays for the Celtics. Thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Bye now.